Hello and welcome. My name is Eva Dunlap Lewis, and I'll be guiding you through your Communities Connect engagement platform training. Let's get started. As long as you guys are ready, I would recommend just kind of watching the screen today as best as you can and taking the follow-up lesson to follow along and practice. I'm just going to jump right in. I'm recording today's session for the video trainings for Las Ventanas. As a reminder, when I say Cubigo, I mean Las Ventanas Connect. When I say Las Ventanas Connect, I mean Cubigo. From this point forward, they're synonymous. Also, I'm using Las Ventanas Connect on my computer here through the downloaded application. Las Ventanas Connect looks the same when you're using a computer like this, when you're using the web browser version, or an Android. But for those of you who are following along with an iPhone or iPad, my screen, what I am showing up here, will look different from what you see on your iPhone or iPad. It won't look drastically different, just small differences. And I will walk you through the steps of how it's different when we're in that moment with my voice verbally, even though you won't see it on the screen. When we do our follow-up trainings, those are done using the screen of an iPad, so iPhone and iPad users can follow along more easily. However, unlike these trainings today, they are not recorded. I highly suggest, if this is your first time watching this lesson, you simply keep your eyes up on my screen and watch what I'm doing. If you have watched this lesson before, then please feel free to follow along with your device in hand as best you can. Does that sound like a plan, team?
Yes.
During this training and while in these cubes today, we'll do the following. We'll view the main page of maintenance and what we find there. We'll place a maintenance request. We'll view past maintenance requests. We'll view the main page of the housekeeping cube and what we find there. We'll place a housekeeping request, and we'll view past housekeeping requests that we've made. We'll go through in that order, and we'll start with reviewing the main page of maintenance and what can be found on that page. Here I am on the home page of Las Ventanas Connect. I see Las Ventanas Connect in big bold letters. And on the right side of the screen, I see my cubes, right? These are my cubes. The maintenance cube has a wrench and screwdriver on it, and it's kind of a black or charcoal gray color. When we find this cube, maintenance, we can click it or tap it, and we're taken to the main page of maintenance. And what we see here is, greetings, Las Ventanas residents. We would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your continued support and patience regarding maintenance and housekeeping requests. Sincerely, the Building and Grounds Department. Now, we will use this cube primarily to place requests for maintenance or view our previously placed requests. Now, if there is something that is of urgent need. Like, let's say that you have a burst pipe under your sink and it is leaking water everywhere. Dan, do you think that's something that you'd want to call maintenance for? Or do you think you'd put in a work order on Los Ventanas Connect?
I would call the front desk.
Absolutely. And why would you handle it that way?
Because it's an urgent need.
Right. So if there's something that is of urgent need, it is either life-threatening or probably not life-threatening, but it is very, very urgent that maintenance gets there quickly. Do not place a request through Los Ventanas Connect. Call that request in to your front desk or your maintenance department. But for other maintenance needs, things like fixing a light bulb or, a broken toilet, a repair of paint or patching a wall, we could certainly, or even an appliance repair, that's when we would use maintenance. So before I get started and put in a phony maintenance request with you all, who wants to give me, what's my scenario? Why do I need maintenance today?
Toilet's overflowing.
Do I only have one toilet?
No, I have two.
Okay, so is it actively overflowing, like water is spilling on the floor?
Yes.
That might be something I would call for because that sounds pretty urgent. But if it were just clogged and I had another toilet, then I would place a work order request. So again, just to repeat, from the home page of Los Ventanas Connect, I go to my maintenance cube, I open it up, and I have two choices, place request and your request. Place request is where I go to place a new work order, so I'm going to click or tap place request. Now, this is our form. In this form, we get to fill out information about the request that we need. The first option is choose. On iPhones and iPads, it will say choose from list. It'll just say choose rather than choose from list. So if we click or tap choose under location, we have the option of I see my apartment, but you may actually see your unit number. It varies across communities what you actually see. Then we have outside my apartment, please specify location in comments. So if this is the scenario that we're using the clogged toilet, then which would I choose? Is it in my apartment or is it outside my apartment?
In my apartment, if it's the toilet.
Right, so I would choose my apartment.
Was
Now, when I choose my apartment, I get this secondary drop-down question. I would like to allow technicians to enter my apartment even when I'm not at home. So if I'm okay with a technician coming in there when I'm not there, then I would check off this box. If I was not okay with it, I would leave it blank and they would not enter without me being there. It's important to note that we don't have that option when we make the choice of outside my apartment. And that's kind of obvious because it's not relevant. We don't, if you're reporting a maintenance problem, maybe there's a sprinkler that is leaking or there is a very dangerous crack in the sidewalk or a railing is falling off and you want to report it, you would choose outside my apartment, and then there would be no point for this question. I would like to allow technicians to enter my apartment even when I'm not at home, because it wouldn't be in your apartment, right?
right.
So in this scenario, Anita or Addie, are we okay with them coming in when we're not there?
I am.
So do we check it off or leave it blank?
We check it off, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Next, we have to choose which room the maintenance will take place in. So we hit either choose from list, which is what I see here on a computer browser or Android. But for iPhones and iPads, we see choose. So I go ahead and click choose from list, and I have entryway, kitchen, living room, master bedroom, guest bedroom, bathroom, toilet, dressing closet, deck, den, laundry closet. Those are my options. For this one, it's the toilet. So I'm going to choose toilet. Now we have type of issue, choose from list. Appliance repair, AC heating, electrical, light bulb replacement, garbage disposal, paint, pest control, plumbing, fire system, special resident service, or structural. Which one would I choose? Probably plumbing, right?
Yes.
My toilet's clogged, so I'd choose plumbing. Our next option here is comment, please provide more details, and it gives us this large area called the text box where we click it and we can detail in as much information as possible what's going on. So I'm going to say guest bathroom toilet is clogged, not overflowing, not very urgent, as I have another bathroom. Right, so I want to give as much info as possible. I think that that pretty well explains the problem. I'm also going to add here, this is for training purposes only. Please mark as completed and disregard, because I don't actually live at Las Ventanas. So I don't want them to actually try and take care of this problem, right? They're going to have a hard time finding my apartment when I live in San Diego, California. It's important to note that if you're following along and if you're making a fake request with me, that you hit cancel and you don't send your request. Because, was there a question? Oh, hi, Joanne.
Hi, I'm just gonna shut this off and we're on the big screen.
All right, as I was saying, and good job, Joanne, getting that fixed. As I was saying, if you're following along and you are making a phony request with me, please cancel by hitting cancel at the bottom of your screen. For iPhone and iPad users, you'll have to hit cancel in the top right. But if you're actually sending the request like I am, then I would hit request after reviewing all of my information. And then iPhone and iPad users, if you're actually sending a request, then you would hit submit. There's just that slight difference there between operating systems. So all of this looks good. I'm ready to send my maintenance request. I go ahead and click or tap where it says request or submit, whatever I see. And Dan, since you're the only one with audio now, where does it take me back to?
Where does what?
What am I looking at now?
Oh, homepage.
The home page. And do you notice anything different here?
Request shows up there.
Absolutely. That's what's different.
Yeah.
It's important to note that on the computer, Android, and browser version, we see our schedule under today at the top of the screen under Las Ventanas Connect. If you're following along with an iPhone or an iPad, then you'll find your schedule underneath your cubes. So you'll have to scroll down a little bit and then you'll see your schedule. So on our schedule, after we place a request, we'll see that request on the day we place it. Also on our schedule, we'll see any activities that we've signed up for or marked ourselves as interested in that occurred today. We'll see any birthdays. We'll see if the mail is in. But what I want you to see is after you place a request, it shows up on your home page under your schedule, and it shows that it is requested. When you see requested, that means that your maintenance department has not yet seen it. Once they do see it, it will show up as in progress in yellow. And you'll receive a notification, an alert saying that your request has been moved to in progress and your maintenance department will be contacting you shortly. On my screen, notifications appear on the home page in the top right. I'll receive notifications about activities that I've signed up for or marked myself as interested in. Once they change, maybe if they're moved or if they're canceled. Looking here, so here's one. Dear Eva, your maintenance request plumbing has been canceled. Please contact staff for additional information. This was one that I made for a different community yesterday. And my requests are canceled because I don't actually live at that community. So yours will not typically be canceled. So my notifications are at the top of the screen. iPhone and iPad users, your notifications appear in a bar at the bottom of the screen where you see home, news, notifications, chat, and profile. You would hit notifications to see any of your updates about that request you just input. But what if we want to see all of our past maintenance requests? Any idea what we do? Well, we would go back into our maintenance cube right here. Click it or tap it. And instead of place request, we would hit your requests. When we hit your requests, we're going to see a page of all of the past requests for maintenance that we have placed using Las Ventanas Connect. If you've called in a maintenance request to the front desk, it will not show up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I think you can hear us now, right, Eva?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Good, good. I just disassembled everything and reattached and it worked that time, so
Wow, nice job, Joe.
I'm trying.
You're doing great.
You can teach the old dog new tricks.
That's right. So I have only placed this one maintenance request for today, April 1st, 2022. So that's why it's the only one I've seen. But if you have placed multiple maintenance requests using Las Ventanas Connect, then you're going to see them here. It's important to note that if you're using an iPhone or an iPad, then you have an active filter on only showing you 1 month in the past. So if you're using an iPhone or an iPad and you want to see older requests, then you have to hit the word filter in the top right. Hit the date under start date and change the start date to something further in the past. So you could choose, the 4th of July of last year if you wanted to. If you were looking for a maintenance request that you placed in August, you could start it on August 1st, and then you would see all of those maintenance requests since that date. And hit save and it will show you. But for computer, Android, and browser users, which I think all of us, Dan, Anita, and Addie, we are all those users here. So we'll automatically, we don't have a filter, we just see every maintenance request we've placed. And again, anyone remember how I got here?
Right, home, and then down to what cube, Addie?
Oh, the maintenance.
Down to the maintenance,
Down
right?
to maintenance. What's next? Your requests.
Yeah, those are your old ones.
Those are your old ones. And if I want to see more information about one of my old ones, which if they're old, then they're probably going to show as either in progress or done. I can just click it or tap it, and I'm taken to that actual work order where I can see the status of it, who it was for, the type, when I requested it, the location, the room, and that I gave maintenance permission to enter the apartment even if I wasn't at home. My comment about the issue is over here. And then I see this Works Hub synchronization is active. You don't have to pay attention to that. All that is indicating is that the system that your community uses, your maintenance, your housekeeping team uses to manage your work orders is called Works Hub. So when we put a request in through Los Ventanas Connect, it goes into their system, Works Hub, so that they can organize and manage those requests. Is that understandable?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Also on this page, for iPhone and iPad users, you do not have this option, Create PDF. But computer, browser, and Android users, we do have this option. If I click or tap Create PDF, then it makes an attachment of this for me so that I could print it if I wanted to. I could just hit that print icon.
It's nice to have.
Question.
Yes.
I do not have that on my computer.
Are you using the web browser version or are you using the downloaded app?
The web browser.
If you had the downloaded app on your computer, which if you call your IT, if you make an IT request, Dan, they can help you load the app on there, then you would see the print option.
Okay.
Great. But that is interesting because I see the print option when I'm using the browser version. Are you sure it's not up there in the top right corner somewhere when did you hit Create PDF?
No, it's nowhere to be seen on the maintenance request page.
Oh, did you place a maintenance? So let's get back to the same place just so we're sure. Let's go home, Dan.
Okay.
Then go back into maintenance.
Okay.
Go to your requests.
Okay.
Go to the request did you see one that you made in the past?
Yes.
What was it for?
Hot water problem.
So click it.
Okay.
And once you click it, the screen should change and it should load the actual work order. You don't see Create PDF at the bottom?
No.
Okay, so thank you for letting me know that. Create PDF seems to only be an option when you're using the computer app.
Okay.
So annoyingly for your trainer, there are all these slight little differences depending on the operating system that someone's using. But if you really want that option, Dan, call your IT department or place a request through IT support and have them help you download the Cubigo application and get you logged into Las Ventanas Connect. It's an easier way to actually use it too.
I've already installed it. I just don't use it.
Oh, okay. Well, it works really similarly. There's just some extra features. So up to you though. To get out of this work order or individual order, we would hit the back arrow in the top left. We're back to seeing all of our previously placed requests. So we can hit the back arrow again. And now we're on the main page of maintenance, where we can hit home in the menu. iPhone and iPad users, your menu is located at the bottom of the screen rather than the top. Are there any questions about maintenance, either placing a request or viewing a past request before I move on to housekeeping?
No questions?
No. Ladies are shaking their head. I think they're good to go.
Excellent. And do you all feel confident that you'd be able to handle that process on your own?
Yes. No. We have to try it first.
That's right. We can work with you, Addie, on that.
Yeah,
We can definitely work with you on that.
It does take practice, and that's what the next week is about. So that next week, when you come back to the follow-up session, if there's questions, we can work through those together.
Right.
Now let's move on to housekeeping. Housekeeping, I love teaching these two together because they work so similarly to one another. So housekeeping is an orange cube, and it's got a mop and a bucket on it. I can click or tap housekeeping, and I'm taken to the main page about housekeeping. Joe, I would recommend that either you or Brittany on this page, you add some information like who the housekeeping managers are, who sees these requests. I can also send you some attachments to add here about what a normal housekeeping visit includes and what might be considered an extra service.
Okay.
Because for housekeeping, one of the biggest differences is that we only request housekeeping when we need it, but we don't get regularly scheduled maintenance, right? But we do get regularly scheduled housekeeping.
What if something like broken glass?
Then that would be an excellent example of something you needed housekeeping for. You would place a request if there was broken glass, and I will use that as my example. So we have two options on this page: place request and your requests. Also important to note for iPhone and iPad users, for some reason these buttons are switched. Like it says your requests on the left and place requests on the right in both maintenance and housekeeping and IT support for that matter. So if I want to place a request for housekeeping to come and clean up some broken glass, which one would I hit?
Right, Addie. Place request.
Very good, Addie. I would hit place request. Now I have this form, which it may change slightly in the future because we actually cannot request housekeeping for anywhere else in our community. Joanne, can you place a note, just write a note to yourself or to Brittany that there's an issue here that under location, it should default to my apartment. And for some reason, it's giving that option twice.
Oh, okay.
So the first option on here is actually going to be this question. So also, Joanne, and anybody watching this video in the future, this might have already been solved for you, so you may not see this. But your second option, you have two here. You have my apartment and my apartment. The second one is where the A is capitalized.
Yes.
That gives you the drop down.
Okay.
But the first one doesn't. So if you're going to delete one of these, Joanne, you want to delete the one with the lowercase a.
Okay.
Because we do, for the rest of us, for us residents watching and following along, there's an issue here. There's a glitch that is going to be removed. I just told Joanne about it.
Okay.
And that is that you don't have to choose the location. It's always going to be preset to either your unit number or the words my apartment. So when you open this form, the first thing that we have to do is indicate whether or not we're okay with technicians entering the apartment even when you're not at home. So in this case, Addie.
Excuse me?
Yes.
On my display, when I get to where you're at right now, the default is choose from list. But when I open up the box below it, it shows my apartment number and then my apartment.
Right.
Oh.
And I did address that when we were talking about housekeeping, Dan. So I don't actually live at Las Ventanas. So my option,
Okay.
I don't have a unit number. So every resident will likely just see their unit number already in there.
Yes, understand.
But what I am saying, and I'll say again, is that in the future, it's not going to be an option that you have to choose from. That's just a glitch. It should automatically say your apartment number. Joanne, does that make sense?
Yes.
What I'm asking?
Yep.
And if Brittany doesn't know how to do it, please have her reach out to Melissa Sanders.
Okay.
Let me just make a quick note about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you don't have to choose anything from this in the future. That won't be there, but you do have to indicate whether or not you're okay with technicians entering your apartment, even when you're not at home. If we check off the box, what does that mean, Dan?
Did you allow the people to come in?
Even if we're not there.
Yes.
But if we leave it blank, what does that mean?
I guess they won't come in unless you're at home.
Very good. In this case, I'm going to leave it blank. Now we have room, choose from list, den, laundry closet, main bedroom, guest bedroom, guest bathroom, kitchen, dining room, living room, hall, balcony. Where is the broken glass, Anita?
Not me,
Addie, where'd you break your glass?
in the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
In the
Okay.
kitchen, so I'll choose kitchen. Now we have type of issue. On my screen, I see choose from list. You may see choose. So we click or tap choose or choose from list, whichever we see. The type of issue is either extra housekeeping, refill dispensers, event setup, repairs, move, special resident services, custom services. We might, if I were you, Joe, I would also ask that Brittany add other in there,
Okay.
because in this case, I would maybe just choose extra housekeeping. In essence, it doesn't matter so much what we choose. What matters is the comment that we leave. So, Addie, what did we break?
A glass
Was-
fell off the counter.
Was it a big glass, like a jug, or was it just a small drinking glass?
It was a drinking glass.
I broke a drinking glass in my kitchen this morning and need help cleaning it all up.
Yeah, because we don't have a dustpan or anything.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a great request. I'm also going to add in here, this is for training purposes. Please mark as completed and disregard. Thank you. Because I don't actually live at Las Ventanas. When I am finished filling out my form, I'll look through everything, make sure that it looks right, check it all over. And if you're following along and you're creating a fake request, please cancel that request by hitting either cancel at the bottom. iPhone and iPad users, cancel is in the top right. And it's important to cancel because just like IT support and maintenance, you cannot cancel a request in Las Ventanas Connect. If you have, for some reason, no longer need for that request, you would have to call it into the front desk or the department to cancel it. For me, I'm going to send this form, so I would hit request. iPhone, iPad users, your option is submit. And Dan, where does it take me back to?
Home page?
And what is new here?
Mm-hmm.
I have a new option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it shows me my request for extra housekeeping that I just placed. For iPhone and iPad users, you'll have to scroll down underneath your cubes, which your cubes appear horizontally across the screen. And that's where you would see your schedule, today's schedule, and you would see the request you just placed. Right now it shows as requested, which means that the department, they have not yet seen it. Once they see it, it'll be moved to in progress. And from there, it will be marked as completed once they're done. You'll receive notifications and alerts about your request. iPhone and iPad users, those notifications are found at the bottom of the screen under notifications. For me, my notifications are at the top of the screen. So I'm going to receive notifications about those services, about any activities that I've signed up for or marked myself as interested in. Those alerts will come in under notifications. Are there any questions about placing a housekeeping request?
I have no questions. Yeah.
I'm sorry, there was a question?
No, I have no questions.
Oh, excellent. Okay, thank you. So let's just do that last little piece of going back into housekeeping. And instead of place request, we could hit your requests. What's the difference?
That brings up everything, doesn't it?
Right, Addie. That brings up all of them. Mm-hmm. The ones you hit before, or the ones you created before.
Right. It will bring up your previously placed housekeeping requests. Now, for iPhone and iPad users, you guys will have an active filter on, only allowing you to see your requests for the past month. So you would hit the word filter in the top right and then hit the start date and change the start date to something further in the past. Hit save. And then it would show you all of your requests from that start date you changed it to. I'm sorry if you guys can hear snoring in the background. That's my dog. Can you hear that?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah, that is my giant yellow lab.
They're fun.
They are fun.
He is super fun, and he's super tired right now because, as you guys know, I'm about 6.5 months pregnant, and I was up several times in the night bothering him. So if I want to know more about this housekeeping request, then I can just click it, and I'll be taken into that work order with all the information about my request. You'll notice here that unlike the previous request that said resident allows technicians to enter when not at home, that isn't there because I did not indicate that I was okay with them coming when I wasn't there. When you're using the computer application, we have the option to create a PDF and print it. But that's only for the computer app. It's not for the web browser version, Android version, or iPhone and iPad. From here, to get out of this screen, I would hit the back arrow or done, depending on the device that I'm using. That takes me back to all of my requests. I'll hit the back arrow in the top left again, and it takes me back to the main page of housekeeping. I can hit home in my menu, which for me, my menu is at the top of the screen, but for iPhone and iPad users, your menu appears at the bottom of your screen. And I'm taken back to the home page of Las Ventanas Connect. Are there any questions before I close out our video training?
Anything, Addie?
No, I'll have to use it before I have questions.
Right.
Absolutely. Please practice this. Please practice this. If you're practicing it and you're making a fake request, remember to cancel it instead of submitting it. Now, just for the sake of the video, I'm going to close it out here. I will stay on the call for another minute or so. Just thank you so much for watching this. Please rewatch if you need to. I recommend watching it at least a couple times, the first time through, just to absorb all the information and keep an eye on the screen and what I'm doing. The second time through to follow along and practice listening to my vocal prompts. But in any case, I'll see you soon, and thank you so much for coming. See you next time.